If you like what you hear in this podcast and want to help us keep the lights on, then you could support us on Ko-fi for as little as a £1 one-off donation. The links are in the episode description. Thanks for your support. This is Skip, the podcast where we tell you, in our opinion, which albums are truly unskippable and which ones belong in the skip. I'm Mike.
I'm Rob.
And this week we are listening to Something for Nothing by Chunk. No, Captain Chunk. I hope that's the intonation they were hoping for. It's been a while since I've seen The Goonies, so I forget how he says it. The only bit I remember is, hey, you guys.
Hey, you guys.
Did you like The Goonies growing up?
I think I saw it on Channel 5 like once or twice.
Yeah. I have a lot of friends that are like, that's one of the best like family movies ever made. I'm like,
I can't remember
sure.
It's all right.
I have no nostalgia
I
for that
preferred
film.
The Three Ninjas Go to Hollywood. I'm going back to true Channel 5 classics now.
Surfing Ninjas and other such dross.
Yeah.
And the third Homeward Bound movie or something. I don't fucking know. What?
Or The Brave Little Toaster. Random shit like that.
Oh my God, I remember The Brave Little Toaster. This is a weird segue at the start of this show.
We like films and we don't care who knows.
Welcome
to Unwatched, the new podcast where Mike and Rob talk through films.
It's to tell you which movies are truly
Absolute
unskippable
bollocks.
and which ones you should delete off your VCR. Because we dated, who remembers Wishbone? Anyway.
Oh, Wishbone. Is that the dog detective?
Yeah, well, he was the one that he'd go into like storybooks, wouldn't he? And like, what's the story of Wishbone was the thing. And like,
That was on Channel 5 as well.
I fucking loved Wishbone. And like, he'd be like Robin Hood one week and then like a medieval knight the next week. It was a fucking dog. He was a great dog actor. We're here to talk about Chunk, no Captain Chunk. Album released in 2010, so like, I mean, there was a lot of stuff going on in the scene at that time. And this one was requested by Davey.
Yep, my former workmate back when I used to work in a rock nightclub in Birmingham. And he said, this is just an all-round great album. Fantastic vocals, great riffs, and super catchy songs.
I wonder if this got much play when you were working.
It did when I worked in the club. We had a floor dedicated to like metalcore, pop punk, like heavier pop punk. So yeah, these got a lot of play there.
Cool.
And that's where I first discovered them.
So you have more of a history of them, whereas I had not heard them before this.
Yeah, you'd never heard of them. I remember you like saying to me, what on earth is this name?
I'd seen the name in Kerrang. I know for a fact I'd seen it written down and gone, this is a weird fucking name, whilst also simultaneously being dead into Fall Out Boy and going, no, it's acceptable for a song title to have 17 plus words. That's perfectly fine. And, you know, I don't know what I objected to here. Was it the use of 2 exclamation marks? I don't fucking know. Anyway,
this is our first French band.
it is our first French band. Hon to you, my friend.
Hon. Oui.
I made a lot of French onion soup last night, and I'm not going to kid you. The amount of times I said hon during that hour and a half were many.
Le Quoc.
And that I am. It's interesting because, like, I feel like for French bands in the space, it can be quite difficult, and I feel like the only kind of, if you said French and metal in the same sentence, and your brain didn't go to Gojira, like, there's not much kind of like representation in the field. It's very much dominated by your American bands. So this is interesting. It's slightly different. That being said, I do think there's quite a lot of European bands certainly in the space now. This reminds me of basically like what Electric Callboy would be if it wasn't slapstick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see that. They did have a little bit of slapstick about them because one of their follow-up albums is called Pardon My French.
Oh, that's very tongue-in-cheek. I like that. That's very good. So they kind of eventually evolved a sense of humour, I guess.
Yeah, so this was their debut. So they got internet fame through YouTube, stuff like that. They did do a cover of Smash Mouth's All-Star.
Oh, were they one of the Pop Girls Punk alumni?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So they did sign to Fearless after this album came out and then did a re-release in 2011 to a global audience.
Oh, so it was a domestic release to begin with?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
They did a studio album. They re-released a song from the EP called MILF.
Okay.
Which is great.
Man, I love frogs.
Could be what it's about. But yeah, it was. It turned into a studio album. It was originally on In Vogue, and it was just like a local French release by the sounds of it. And then it went to a global release when Fearless heard them and went, "Oh, we like this."
Yeah, I mean that's interesting that it kind of gained eventual notoriety 12 months after the original release. I'm kind of glad they did re-release it because I've got to tell you, we don't often talk about the album art, but let's have a couple of seconds on that. The re-release album art is 5 million times better than the original.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what the original album art looks like? It would be like if you said
a tree.
It's just a fucking tree, but it's like, hey Siri, can you generate me a knockoff Paramore album art from their early days? It's kind of what it looks like. The script on it, like, it does not suit the sound of the band. Whereas, like, I feel like the ironically chunkier text on the, it wasn't meant to be a joke, but it is, chunkier text on the re-release, and that kind of like, but also that kind of like pointed, edgy, almost like kind of rip-in fabric thing they have going on. And
throwback to the actual band name.
Yes.
With the pirate ship.
Yes, obviously, hence the name of the band, obviously reference to the Goonies. Yeah, that original album art does not suit the sound of the record nor the band at all.
It's just a bit shite.
It's fucking shit. I mean, maybe we shouldn't like rag on it because I imagine somebody spent a lot of time on it, but it proper looks like I found this on Flickr. You know what I mean?
So I'm going to bring you up now. We've actually lost a track.
Excuse me?
So the original standard release, track 7 was called Alex Kidd in Miracle World.
What, the old Master System game?
Yep.
Oh, but that would have been cool.
And then on the 2011 reissue, that track disappeared. So the album went down from 44 minutes to 41:51.
I wonder what was up with that track.
No clue. Okay, so after they re-released the album, it featured a brand new album artwork and a different track listing. They replaced MILF and Alex Kidd in Miracle World with the song Make Them Believe, which was originally a Japanese bonus track.
Okay, that's interesting.
They also released a music video for the single Captain Blood, which was the lead single off the re-release, and an overall second single off the album. And then they went on tour with bands such as Bless the Fall and Attack Attack.
Yeah, I was going to say, those were their contemporaries. Obviously, Attack Attack went on to spawn 2 much better bands, so we're thankful for that.
3 much better bands.
What was the third one?
Oh, there was a third one. It was a huge band.
Obviously, we're referring to Bill Murray and Beartooth off the back of that. I go back and forth on Beartooth, but
I think it was of Mice and Men.
No, that was Mice and Men were well before.
Austin Carlisle.
But he joined that band, right?
So he was in Attack Attack, and then he formed of Mice and Men. So technically...
What the fuck? That can't be true. Sorry. What?
It is.
But of Mice and Men have been going for ages.
Yeah, and he left Attack Attack quite early.
I am so confused. Years active, 2009. When did Attack Attack fall apart?
Probably around then. Unless they kicked him out early.
Sorry, the people who did Float On was a spin-off of Attack Attack. That can't be right. That cannot be right. It's fucking right. Okay, this is absolutely
If I know
bizarre.
anything, it is my hardcore music scene. This is the shit I listen to.
I'm thinking of Modest Mouse.
You might be, yeah.
I'm thinking of Modest Mouse.
Mice and Men are a metalcore band.
Okay, cool. I've never heard of them. We're a professional music outfit, and I don't know the difference between Modest Mouse and Of Mice and Men. Shoot me dead in the streets.
This music is very much my niche.
And you had to say it wrong because?
Because that's also my niche.
I do 2 things well. Proper pronunciation, lists, and such and such.
And proper pronunciation. And repetition.
And don't forget pronunciation.
And don't forget lists.
And lists and pronunciation.
Yeah.
This gag is going nowhere. Shall we get some facts, figures about the record?
Yes, let's get some facts and figures. So the album was originally self-produced by the vocalist Bert Ponce. Which is a great name in itself. Imagine an hardcore singer called Bert.
I like it. That's the bit that you clung onto and not Ponce.
And the album was actually built from tutorials trial and error and pure determination. It's actually a DIY ambitious album that turned into a cult classic cornerstone of the easycore genre.
That's a lot of C's.
These were one of the original easycore bands.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those that, like, what do you classify as easycore? That's its own discussion.
Exactly.
Like, I don't think you could call Attack easycore.
They were crabcore.
They were
They
crabcore.
were very much pre-easycore, so easycore came after that time where it was slightly softer vocals with the heavier backing.
Yeah, you still got the breakdown, you still got the screaming, but
you've got beautiful lyrics as well and beautiful singing voices.
And moreover, it tends to be more upbeat, I guess.
And they cover more topics rather than just like brutal, like chainsaw killings and shit like that. There's quite a few of these hardcore bands covered. Like, you listen to the Black Dahlia Murder and stuff like that.
I mean, why would you listen to the Black Dahlia Murder is the question.
I mean, I used to love Job for a Cowboy.
Yeah, that was proper pig squeal years.
Yeah.
That was
I used to love shit like that.
Job for a Cowboy.
Then I grew up. I started listening to Niall.
Who?
Niall.
Niall?
Yeah.
Niall.
I'm now into Niall. Hey!
Have you written just a series of shit jokes for this
No,
recording
these are
session?
coming off the top of my head.
It's Niall.
I've had no human interaction today.
It shows. Niall is in, like, the river?
As in the river, but it's based on nihilism. Because they absolutely destroy their guitars because they play so quickly.
Is it spelled
N-I-L-E?
Oh, just N-I-L-E?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're really good. Their guitar work is insane.
I genuinely never
We will
heard
listen
of
to them after we finish recording.
Okay,
this.
sounds good.
Notes for this. It's not a restrained album. It isn't pretending to be anything other than what it is. It's just a loud, messy, heartfelt, genre-defining explosion of friendship, chaos, and youthful resilience.
I mean, you're going to get a vibe from me about what I think about this album over the kind of my reaction to the write-up for this. I get the friendship aspect. I think these guys must be pretty solid together. I think there's a certain camaraderie in the band that they've kind of found a way to inject into the music. Genre-defining are words I cannot put to this record. I feel of genre, definitely.
But are you a big fan of early easycore to make that presumption?
Well, again, what's the distinction? Because, like, we're putting, like, bands like probably Bill Murray and, like, Electric Callboy in the easycore section, and they're the new kind of blood, even though both have been going a while, and they're fucking excellent. Whereas, like, early easycore, so it's all the bands that were big in 2010.
So Newfound Glory.
Is it easycore? Is that not just pop punk?
That's heavier pop punk.
Right.
Then you've got 4 Years Strong, A Day to Remember, Set Your Goals, The Wonder Years.
Yeah.
Chunk No Captain Chunk.
I mean, of those, the one that kind of permeates, and to me, therefore, would define the genre, would probably be A Day to Remember. And I don't love A Day to Remember. I think they're fine. Hang on, quick one. Was A Day to Remember the people who did fucking Disrespect Your Surroundings? Is that them?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
so
one of their more recent ones.
was it called Mr. Highway or something like that?
Oh,
What's that song called?
Mr. Highway Thinking About the End.
That's it. Because that's great. But, like, Brand New could, I suppose, no, Brand New's not easycore, because it's not very upbeat.
And I need to take it back. That song is from 2009.
Ah, there you go. So that is very much the contemporary to this record. So in that retrospect, you know, that record to me, that made that genre. Because, I mean, not just because it's a meme, but it kind of put all of those ideas together within that niche, as you're saying this week. So genre defining in this, I don't feel there's anything in this record, generally speaking, that feels as constructive as that particular Day to Remember track or record. I'm not saying it's bad. It's not bad. I just don't get that. And this was the point where this specific niche was founded or put together or progressed, and it just kind of feels like, yeah, this is a band that were very much on the same label, something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see exactly what you're saying. But yeah, this is just a couple of French friends having fun.
Which, again, different in the space.
Exactly. There aren't many reviews for this album.
No.
So we have Rock Freaks giving it 8 out of 10. The New Review giving it a 5 out of 5. Mind Equals Blown giving it 5.5 out of 10. And Dead Press, why the fuck have they put the individual stars in a 2-sized font? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It was 10 out of 10.
Oh,
they gave it a 10 out of 10. I don't know who the Dead Press are, but
they clearly loved it.
They really fucking love this album.
I think it's interesting when we talk about, obviously, this was a 2010 album, re-released in 2011. I wonder if the small amount of reviews is because it wasn't that big, because it was just a domestic release at the time. And then do we look at a reissue and kind of re-review? And I imagine a lot of outlets kind of went, well, I guess not. It's not something new, nothing that we need to report on. And yet it kind of seems like these guys established themselves in that scene very early. It's not something that I've got much experience with, but you knew of them. Obviously, Davey knew of them. And I've definitely seen their name written on festival.
Yeah, I've seen them a couple of times.
Oh, you've actually seen them?
Yeah.
Okay.
The first time I saw them was Slam Dunk in Wolverhampton, and they were put into the smallest room, and there was a 2-hour queue to get into the room to see them.
No way.
I couldn't get into the room properly. I had to fight my way in, and then they started kicking people out because there were too many people in the room.
Shit.
There was a fight to get in there.
God damn.
They were great.
What year would that have been?
Ooh, when did they stop? Slam Dunk Midlands? A while back, I think. Like 2000 and... Oh, it would have been my second year of uni, so 2012?
Yeah.
So just after this year?
Yeah, because we went 2010, didn't we? I went 2010.
You went?
October 2010 was my first year of uni.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Slam Dunk. I was going to say, when did you go Slam Dunk?
Uni. I haven't been Slam Dunk.
2014.
2014 is when you saw them?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, let's talk about that, because that might be relevant to this. So, did they perform any of this album live when you went?
Yes.
Was it good?
It was good.
Very good.
Very good.
Very good. Again, it's not a band I've seen. It's not a band I'd really interacted with before Davey sent this one in. So, I'm fascinated, because it's interesting being a part of this scene and kind of feeling like you've got a good lay of the land of the bands that were running at the time. And then for someone to go, oh, listen to this. And I go, I have not heard a single second of this record before. And it doesn't even feel like that was like a choice. It just kind of feels like I probably should have heard it and I just haven't. And I don't know how that's possible. Haven't heard it on any rock clubs. Admittedly, I didn't really go to the one that you worked at.
You were at uni at the time.
I was at uni. I was in the north.
In
North, where they lack rock clubs. There was one rock bar and it was obsessed with playing everything on fucking scuzz. So you wouldn't have heard this. Yeah. But I hadn't heard this at Planet. I hadn't heard this at...
the only song that you probably would have heard at Planet would have been either their cover of All Star.
Yeah, I've probably heard that.
And potentially like In Friends We Trust.
Is that from the...
That's from this album.
That's from this album. Okay, cool. I forget their song titles, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, their song titles are difficult. And we will go into it. Actually, let's go into it now.
Are we out of facts?
We are very much out of facts. It's very short. It's a very early album for them. Other than the tracks changing, there isn't much to say about it, unfortunately.
No. Have you heard the record before we came to the show?
Yeah, I've listened to this a ton of times. This used to be on my iPod.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Back in day.
Essentially, I started listening to them properly when I started in the nightclub, which would have been second year of uni, so 2013, 2012, 2013. I friends with some of the DJs in there and just said, who should I listen to? And they went, here you go. And they gave me a list of bands. They gave me these. They gave me Everybody Dies in Utah and a band that we will go to talk about very fondly called Eskimo Callboy.
Yes.
With their EP. They sent me their EP, who now go by Electric Callboy.
I very much do not have that same singer anymore.
They still have one of the singers.
Oh yeah, there's the taller lad whose name I forget.
Yeah, but not the random gangster wannabe.
No.
Sang exclusively in German.
No, this is before they got Nico, who's like infinitely cooler.
22. Eskimo cowboy, 22. I remember the track so well. It's like do 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 do.
Would that have been from like they had like an album that like I think it's got like some kind of like blue head Barbie doll on the front or something like that.
It's the one before that.
It's the one before that. Fuck, that's early.
Yeah, it was their EP,
and they were contemporaries to Chunk No Captain Chunk, who, by the sounds of it, were a lot more popular.
Yeah.
Like
the French version.
The French version.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what else? Anything? I think we're just going to best songs, I guess.
Yeah, I think we're just going to best songs. Now, I'm keen to hear your best songs because I know from a very, very brief talk about this album, you found it very samey.
Yes. On the whole, I found this to be why write two songs when one will suffice? I didn't really get a sense of the band really evolving beyond an established sound in this one. They kind of went, right, we're going to have like the whole chanted kind of vocal stings and like that kind of works because like yo ho ho Pirate's Life for me, I guess. And that works, and you get a sense of the band's camaraderie, and I think their energy does come through those additions. The riffage is fucking basic, though. Like, I just feel like the guitar work is not comprehensive here. I don't get a sense of their skill when it does feel like it's just, we're just going to slightly up-tempo this one. We're just going to slightly down-tempo this one. We're going to open with some yelling. Then we're going to keep the yelling until the middle of the song. It's like the same building block. Like it's like buying a Lego set and going, okay, I'm going to make the spaceship. Okay, now I'm going to make a slightly different, longer spaceship. Now I'm going to make a rocket, like a lunar launch rocket.
But it's going to look like my spaceship.
Precisely. That being said, I did have some tracks that did actually stand out, which were surprising to me. The one that I thought was like the perfection of the formula that they'd put together. It's not one of the singles, actually. It's Positive O. In terms of the, I hope I'm saying that correctly, in terms of like the bulk of what the album is, and the post-hardcore kind of easycore feel that they've got going on, I feel like that one feels the most evocative of the time it was released because it's the only one that kind of plays with the synths a little bit. It's not too much, it's not overbearing, but in terms of that 2010 feel, I feel like this is the one that kind of like anchors that album to that point in time. I don't think the songwriting's too terrible on that one. Generally, I lose a lot of the vocals. I think that could be a couple of things. I think one, potentially muddy production, and two, French. And I struggle with the accent a little bit, and that's coming from somebody who listens to a lot of European music. So, like, if I'm struggling, it's not usual for me.
Yeah, I would say I agree with you. This has got a very different vibe to the rest of the album. Like this song, it could be on a completely different album, and you wouldn't notice.
No,
like it seems like a more evolved, mature song.
Yes.
So whether this was made later into their production, I'm not sure. But it feels like this is where they found their sound and went, oh, actually, let's make something slightly different, more evolved.
Yes.
And yeah, I agree with you. It's one of the best songs on the album.
It is kind of the perfection of the formula that they were going for. And I just feel like it's the one that actually hits on all cylinders. I feel like you lose the least amount of vocals to the production and to the accent here compared to the rest of the record. It's not to say that there aren't other good songs on the record, and I think that the same kind of praise can be leveled against Time's Up.
Yeah,
I think that's got kind of like the best chanted vocal sections on it.
Yeah, if that reminds me of early 2000s metalcore.
Yes, I think again, this is why I'm saying I don't feel like it's a genre-defining album, more of a strictly in-genre piece, and that does remind me of its contemporaries. So I liked it, but I wouldn't say it's anything beyond a strong, yes, that is good. Yeah. That is...
It isn't life-changing.
It isn't life-changing.
It's not a bow rap.
It's not a bow rap. Very few things are. It's not a bow rap, though. And, I mean, stop me if I'm absolutely steamrolling through these, but I feel like I am.
No, it's
fine. What I actually really appreciated was the one that is completely different vibes to the whole fucking record. Is one of my highlights, which is For All We Know. I think the acoustic kind of arrangement lets the vocalists, what was his name, Ponce or whatever it was, Bertrand. It allows Bertrand to kind of show that he does have a degree of vocal strength, and I think that's something that is missing on the album because it is kind of lost in the mix from time to time. So stripping it back shows that actually, yes, these guys do have quite a lot of talent. I think the acoustic style allows the guitar work to kind of come forward, so it doesn't just feel like it's just fucking palm muted and then twiddlies all the time.
Drop C.
Yeah, drop C, and then which is like the two sounds that it feels like the rest of the record has. This gives it a much different flavour. And I think you were right about Positive O saying that it feels like more accomplished, because this certainly feels more mature for them. Which I think the youthful energy is good in the album, but I think having the space on the record to also go, we can also approach something a bit more seriously, shows that they are serious about doing this and they are very talented people. So those three are the ones that stood out the most to me.
Okay.
Is there any ones there that you kind of think that should be drawn attention to alongside that?
Well, two of my favourites are from the start of the album as well. So I like Born for Adversity. I think it's a strong start to the album. I like the fact it hasn't got any of the softer vocals, because I think the heavier vocal suits that twiddly guitar. And as an introductory to the album, before you've listened to too many tracks that sound similar, it is a nice track. And then In Friends We Trust, I think, has got the best verse. Best verses and best choruses from the songs, and it's the easiest ones to listen to. It's the hey dudes. Like, I just like that part. It's like something you can actually sing along with, which you lack on the rest of this album.
Yes, I agree. There's a lot when you do actually catch the vocals on the rest of the track. The lyrics aren't typical. I'm not to say that there are a lot of bands that weren't doing kind of like, you know, couplets that don't rhyme or whatever, but I wonder whether how much of that is a case of lost in translation with these guys. Obviously, I'm not going to say that French people sing in a second language when it comes to English, because, you know, we very much spread that language across the world, but it's not their native tongue. So it's already a stretch to kind of approach a genre that is very much rooted in like the American post-hardcore scene, and then to go, we're not going to sing in French, we're going to sing in English. So you have to be confident to do that. And like the other French band, which is to throw all French music apart from these two bands under the bus, which I won't do. Here's a third, Superbus. They were good. Look them up. But Gojira don't struggle with that. They are very accomplished, but I think they very early on decided on that kind of harsher vocal style, which can mask a little bit of that kind of translation issue. And these guys don't do that. I think because it goes easycore and you've got the cleaner vocals, you've got less places to hide if your vocals aren't strong enough. It's not to say that they don't have the rougher vocal styles. There's still growls in this album and that. And they're fine. They're okay. They're not the strongest in the genre, but they're pretty good. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I do not remember much else. I mean, Born for Adversity, like you say, is pretty good. In Friends We Trust was a single, right?
That and Captain Blood.
Literally like two back-to-back on the album listing, certainly for the re-release anyway. Yeah, like, they're fine. They're okay. I just don't think it's their strongest work, but they're not objectionable to me.
I completely see that. Okay,
so any other tracks that you've got in your standouts there, outside of, like I say, the openers and Positive O and Time's Up?
I don't think there's any other tracks on there that are like standouts.
No. And the good thing about that is that I can confidently say, as we enter the bad stuff, I don't think there's any particular track I can single out and go, this is shit. Or anything that I'm like, this doesn't fit the sound, this doesn't fit the album, you know. They will be very pleased to hear that there is nothing that I think is outwardly objectionably bad on this record. I think what I'm going to say to temper that is, I just don't feel like there's a lot of standout on this record. I feel like, as I said at the top of the show, this is the same song repeated confidently 10 times with a little bit of kind of maturity added towards those later tracks, certainly in terms of the track listing, but potentially also in terms of the artistic evolution of the band. And I just feel that outside of that, there ain't much else to write home about. If I had to single out one song and I'd go, oh, this is the bit where I knew the album wasn't working for me, it would probably be the closer. It's not to say that XOXO is a bad song. It's to say that following For All We Know with XOXO kind of strands For All We Know in the middle of a record where it feels like it doesn't belong, where I feel like that maturity would have worked better as a closer. Swap those two tracks, and I don't think you've got as much of a problem. But I think the kind of the format that it's in kind of exposes the fact that this is a record where they've stretched an idea too thin.
Yeah. I mean, you're always going to have that problem with a debut album, especially if you're producing it yourself from YouTube tutorials.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be a struggle, and they've done an incredible job. And I agree with you. Like, there's too many songs on this album that have a similar sound. It's like Captain Blood, third track on the album, second single. It's a very reminiscent track to In Friends We Trust, which literally comes before it in the album.
Yeah.
It's a little softer. That's the only differentiation. Like we've said earlier, like there are some songs where they just use a little bit more electronica to like try and cover it up and make it sound a little bit different. But some of it, sometimes it's like the vocals are too soft or too harsh, and the track is the opposite. Yeah. So the track needs to be harsher to accompany that, or it needs to be softer to accompany that. It's like they're finding their way, and later releases after this album, they very much do find their way. It's like, I'll go back to it, their cover of All Star. It's perfect. It is the best cover that I've heard from Punk Goes Pop. Like, it just works so well. It's got a random breakdown in where they've mixed it so much better because they've got professional mixers. So I think I'm with you. It's the whole thing about them producing it themselves and being French, not their first language. I don't think they speak very good English, because one of my friends is like absolutely mad on them and like follows them around the country, and she said that she spent a lot of time with them and they struggle sometimes, and she helps them to learn English.
Oh, interesting. That's very interesting. I think knowing that it's, obviously we know it was self-produced, but like literally that they were doing what I do when I need to learn something for this show, which is just look it up on YouTube.
Yep. How to change engine oil.
Or as we call it, Skillshare for free. So I think that does kind of temper how I could feel about the album, because knowing that it's just a group of lads who wanted to make something that they felt strongly about and did so by hook or by crook, that's a very good feel-good story. I think, and I can't remember who said this, but it's a great quote. Even the worst piece of art, music, film, anything, any piece of media that you kind of expose yourself to, it is a miracle that thing exists. And I think in that kind of very general way of thinking, it's a miracle that we get something like this, that it feels so very confidently of genre. Again, not genre defining. All of that said, though, I just think there is a lack of variety that I think you would get on albums that do feel like must listens. And if this is like just the idea you've got to push out to then go on and make something that would go on to define your sound, you got to do it. Debut albums are hard, as you said, and there are a lot of challenges for this to get where it is. So it is an accomplishment that it gets so close and embeds itself so well into this genre, considering all of those hurdles to get there. Doesn't necessarily mean, though, that it's something that I think is warranting multiple listens or warranting revisiting after all these years. I just can't really go, yes, this is a defining, back to front masterpiece. I just don't believe it's there, but I am happy that it exists.
Well, I'm coming back to this after probably 6 years of not listening, or 6 maybe even long, 6 to 10 years of not listening to this album in its entirety. I hadn't played it on Spotify, so the last time I properly sat and listened to it was back when I had my iPod Classic. So I haven't had that for 8 years.
Well,
so
what was it like coming back to?
Interesting, because I had a lot more I had them in much higher regard back in day. And I've sat and listened to the album again and gone, I'm enjoying this, but with all the music that we have access to today and some of the incredible artists that have come off the back of this, such as Bill Murray, who are like not even guilty pleasure, they're just pleasure.
Yep.
Then it's kind of changed my view on these. Great band live, really fun, energetic band. They took hiatus when they needed to and come back stronger. They did what they needed to do in the scene when they got popular and it was too much for them. Fair play, nothing but respect for it. But I'm with you, I wouldn't want to sit and listen to it on repeat.
No. And doing that for the show feels like it's the only time I'm ever going to do that.
Yeah.
I don't even feel like I've got something, because sometimes we have album reviews on this show and we go, maybe the album isn't skippable, but that bit was a gem and I want to take that and put it into regular rotation. Like, if you listen to last week's show that was all about Queen, that's how I felt about Death on Two Legs, which I hadn't heard before, now fucking love it. And I don't have that here. I have songs that I go, I see these being a slightly better, and then the noise of the album, as I wrote down in my notes, what feels like background music as you're walking around a CEX.
It'd be perfect for Burnout.
Yeah, because you're not really paying attention to the lyrics, I guess, in a Burnout game. It's more vibes.
These sorts of songs are like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater back in day sort of songs. Like, they'd work well as a one-off track to get you introduced to the band, but it's not something that you'd want to listen to an entire soundtrack of. You wouldn't want Guitar Hero for Chunk, no, Captain Chunk, or something like that. No,
it doesn't feel like that all-timer kind of energy, which is such a shame, because I think there are a lot of good things here, and like I say, triumph over adversity, get yourself into a space, and, they then later face that adversity from being in the space.
In the opposite from last week, they've stayed too within their niche.
Yes. It's very chalk and cheese in that way, isn't it? Something that tried every genre and something that very much just went, we are this genre, and that's it. Nothing more, nothing less, just this. And efficiency is appreciated on the show sometimes, but I think having especially these two albums back to back, I know what I preferred, and I very much preferred experimentation and grandeur and putting yourself into uncomfortable kind of genres and things to find a way of creating something that feels truly artistic. Whereas this feels like we made one very good thing. Now let's just keep doing that very good thing. It's like, yes, but that does get boring after a time. Like, it's one's Ferrari and the other one's Volkswagen, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I completely get what you mean. And I think with all that in mind, let's just rip it off.
Yep.
This is a skippable album.
It's very skippable. It's not skippable in the sense of some of the ones we've covered that are just dross. This isn't avoid this album at all cost. This isn't like Ed Sheeran or Adele or Christ knows what. This is more, it's perfectly acceptable as background music for people if you like this, but it's not it's not a soundtrack. It is just noise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't mean that to be disparaging about the tone of the album and Christ knows what. It is just, oh, that's a good song, and it's the same, and it's the same, and it's the same, and it's the same acoustic, and it's the same. That isn't exciting. That isn't dynamic. It isn't gripping. I truly think that there is something in there, and I do wonder about those future records, but this isn't something I'm going to come back to. It's not entering the block list by any stretch of the imagination, but I am not enthused about listening to this again. I'm sure they're good lads, I just don't see it.
However, you will have to listen to their cover of Disenchanted, the My Chemical Romance song.
Interesting. That would be interesting, actually.
And their cover of We Are Who We Are by Kesha.
See, at least
I love a good cover.
At least with kind of like the little bit of electronica bits from this album, I could see that kind of working. And that's a contemporary to this record as well. That's around that time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Kesha was still doing things then.
Their Kesha cover came out in 2011.
There you go. Okay, so yeah, that might be interesting to listen to. I will make it a thing to do that. But I won't be returning to Something for Nothing, unfortunately. Very sorry, Davey, but this time your album does not get itself onto the Skip Wall of Fame. It's not an unskippable album. It belongs in the skip. I don't think I've ever said that at the end of a show before.
I don't think you have either. I don't think you should again.
No, I didn't like it. It feels too formulaic.
Feels icky.
Yeah, it's grim. It's a bit corporate. I don't like it.
It's a bit too Fandango.
Thunderbolt and Lightning.
Hey.
Two of my favourite connectors. So thank you very much for listening to this episode. If you want to send us your suggestions for unskippable albums, you can send them to us at our form on our Linktree, linktr.ee/skippod, which is SKIPDPOD. Or you can email us directly, skippod@gmail.com, skipod@gmail.com. Send us your suggestions and we'll put them on the wheel, and then you'll potentially get picked for the next episode. You can also find us on Instagram and Blue Sky using skippod, SKIPDPOD, as the handle to find us over there. Next week, remind me where we're going. I've forgotten. I know it's one I like, but I forget which one.
Oh, no, it's not.
Oh, wait, no, sorry, no. Next week is the last one before we get to the run of albums that is just...
Mike Fest.
Yeah, it's just Mike Fest. You're going to hear a lot of enthused opinions from hopefully next week onwards, but certainly the week after. Next week is the one that we've been putting off to a degree.
Yeah, so... Next week is an album that I would say you definitely need to put some time aside to appreciate.
Yeah, it's a shame we don't warn people in advance as to what's coming up. But this one's dense, but in a very good way. And if you're a fan of late night talk shows, you might already know who we're listening to. But we will see you in 7 days' time to talk about that album. Bye, everybody.
Bye.